Welcome, everybody. I've got the one and only duo, the winner of Gen Con 2025. We're going to talk about Hot Springs, his brainchild. It was his first shown on the Experience Share. What was it, 6 months ago? But welcome, duo. Who are you, and what do you don't have any online presence other than Discord, do you?
No, not really. I get off the socials, but hey, everybody, howdy, Duo. I'm Nate, but everybody knows me by Duo. And I'm really excited to talk about the deck and my experience at Gen Con if we have the time or whatever. So,
Yeah, yeah. So, in the description, I will have just a link to Blake's experience shares, like so you can go back and like see what you were saying about cards back then, and come back or watch this and go and just a fun like evolution of the deck. I think that's kind of where I want to talk about is like where did this start and how did this like come about?
yeah, for sure. I have books of primers on both of these. In an effort not to be like super redundant, I won't just like go and talk about every card. But I think there's some pretty interesting iterations that have happened over time. Not only just like with where the meta was whenever I first made Hot Springs, but like where it is now and what was viable, like why cards are like more, in my opinion, more viable now than they were then, and things like that. So, um, when AL first came out, um, and I even highlight this in the little deck highlight with that I did with the Eric's Curiosa team about like I played a sealed tournament and I was running water air and I in my sealed pool I got a wyvern and I was like and I had two pawns in my sights and I was like, should I force this one wyvern and only run water air? And I ended up getting fourth in that sealed tournament. I think it was like a 32 person tournament, and every game I saw the Wyvern, I was able to play the Wyvern with no Earth sights in my
Oh my
deck because I
goodness.
just like had the pawns. Yeah, it was crazy. So then I was like pretty hot on Pond. Like I was very bullish on Pond's ability to just like
Ignoring
throw it
threshold is
out
is
and
crazy. It's a tower that says play whatever you want.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was so impactful. So I was like, let me see more about this. So like kind of like always when there's a new set that comes out, like everybody's like really leveraging like charge and water. I'm sorry, air fire.
Hmm.
Aggro was like the big deck early on. It was whether it was like Pathfinder, Sorcerer. It was always like kind of what Witch. I know everybody was playing Witch for a while,
Yeah,
and it was
which
all air fire.
I have a air fire list that I took to an event and won with, and it was like really strong. And just because, like you said, when a new thing drops, aggro is just good, right?
Yeah, everybody's still trying to like get their feet underneath them of like how do we not just how do we make games go like a little bit longer and what's the good viable control pieces and stuff. So early on I was playing a earth water druid list, um running like Wicked Witch and things like that, and that did really well against the aggro match,
Hmm.
because flipped Wicked Witch is kind of like a Drums of Doom on a body in Druid, because like any of their 3 power stuff just dies when it enters the aura, and that's what the aggro deck's power like
It stops at
maximum
three,
is
right? Yeah.
generally. Yeah, so it was doing really well, but then the meta started slowing down a little bit, and people discovered Archimego being as broken as it was. So that water earth deck just wasn't very like as viable because it was like you can't just play your Pudge Butcher
Yeah, it just
and
dies
then
to
pass the turn.
Magoo
It just
control, right?
dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, well, how do we speed things up, but keep leaning into the synergy with pawns and beasts, and I was looking at it, and originally I was like, wow, I don't know if this will work. This is super greedy with threshold, like, but golly, water and fire just have some of the most impactful cards in a vacuum, right?
Yeah,
Between
if you look at all the
Morgana Le
busted
Fay,
uniques, you slam a Green Knight, you take care of any aggro. Ruler Thule just wins out
yeah,
of nowhere. Sir Agravain is just the most annoying thing to deal with, and then even a Lugbog cat off of a pond on turn 2 on the play is like just broken.
Yeah, it definitely feels broken for sure. And then so once I've kind of realized that they just had so many win button uniques that it's just like if you see this, your chances of winning are like really high. I was like, let me see what this is all about. So that's kind of how I landed on Waterfire to begin with, and then and just over, I think it's literally been like 8 months since 9 months since I started like iterating on this deck, to where we are now. So, I mean, not not to beat it, like everybody knows, like Druid is like the value is just it's kind of broken, honestly, in my opinion. It's a little too good as
It
a
does a
as an
lot
avatar. It
for for an
it just gives
avatar,
you too
right?
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we, the Tawny Tawny is so broken for a lot of reasons, but a big one is the the ability to run spells that have any kind of positional requirement and not having to worry about that as an issue to cast those spells, like polymorph and disintegrate being nearby. Your avatar can stay back playing sites and
Yeah.
continue to curve out and tapping without taking steps and using these cards, and really leveraging Tawny early on is a big boon for this deck. So, but I can kind of take us like category by category, or just key standout things, whatever you think. If there's something that kind of jumps out that
Yeah.
you want me to
Actually,
highlight, I'm happy to do that.
I think the thing I just noticed is your magics feel like the most different. In your first iteration in Hot Springs, like you're really high on Shatter Strikes. You got some good minor explosions, and only the one or two of the like really positionally mattering cards. It feels like in this new list you have Polymorph, Disintegrate. Oh, I didn't know you played Font of Life in this list.
Well,
And
I
Lava
don't.
Flow.
It's a placeholder
Oh,
for
this
Font of
is
Life is a placeholder for a swap
these are
because
swaps.
they're the
Okay,
same mana and threshold.
Mana and
So I just
Threshold,
like
very nice. Okay,
originally they just had us put it in the like fat or the primer
yeah.
for if we had swap in there, but I wanted people to see like it was at 51 cards, not 49.
Yeah.
So,
The big
um,
one here that
but
I feel like a lot of people got like wrong. I even got Lava Flow wrong, but in the last, I don't know, 3 months, a Lava Flow is like, this thing is amazing. This is like a 2-for-1 that deals damage. Um,
oh my gosh, the ceiling on that card is so high. The
mhm.
fact that it kills root spiders was originally and I'm not gonna take all the credit for any of these cards. Like I know a lot of people have been playing Lava Flow for a while and things,
Mhm.
but particularly like I have a core test group with me and my brother and our good friend Chris is Mark the Lesser, and we had been like testing really hard to try to find a deck that in our opinion was better than Hot Springs. Primarily, I mean, I had been playing Hot Springs for like before Gen Con like 7 months, pretty exclusively at that point, and I was kind of getting fatigued of it. I was like, I want to play something else at
I
this point.
yeah. I mean I even picked up Steam for a few months and it's just like, all right, this is pretty good, but I mean like it does the thing every single game and you just like, all right, what
Yeah,
else is out there? I totally get it.
yeah. We tried. We really tried. And Chris is a pretty devout battle mage. Acolyte, I'd say. Like he's been on Battle Mage for forever, and Battle Mage is good. Water Air Battle Mage is really good. And there was a brief time where we thought that was one of the best decks too, and it is. It's up there. But after like weeks of just testing into this, he even converted onto this and helped me iterate it. And a lot of these inclusions
That's when you
were
know
like
you've
were like
got something
something that
good when your testing group is like, fine.
yeah, exactly, and like he helped iterate like a lot of these inclusions were him. Like he was pretty high on Lava Flow too, and like was really pushing for it. But killing root spiders, killing. I think the thing that pushed it over the top for us was after the codex change, the fact that it was another reliable quote unquote way to kill pudge butchers and kill Stepero vampires
Yeah,
because like
vampires
the
is a
step
big one.
forward deals
Yep.
4. Yeah, so like you can still get that vampire, which put it over the edge. But like the amount of times I've killed 2 root spiders with lava flow, it's it just like pays for itself in dividends. And then in the finals match,
Yeah.
like it does like 5 and kills a Pudge Butcher, and it's so cracked. So, but yeah, you're right. Definitely, as I've played the deck more, I realized, hey, Polymorph is actually really easy to cast in this deck. Like,
Yeah.
hey, Disintegrate is really easy to cast in this deck. So,
I'm
Minor Explosion, like, who cares about that 2 steps? You're always going to be able to do it. So,
yeah. I'm gonna. This is the list I played at Gen Con. I went hard on the removal, so I have 2 Poison Novas and 2 Lava Flows and 2 Disintegrates and 2 Polymorphs. Um, I'm not a huge fan
I
of my overall list, but what I did learn is all this hard removal with Tawny is like I don't have to care about 5/5s. I don't have to care about anything. It just gets
it feels
deleted.
trivial, right?
Yeah,
Like to be able to
yeah.
take care of their threat. And honestly, I think your list with what you've mentioned was in a pretty good place for Gen Con because of
The,
just how few Archimagos we saw,
yeah.
because of how many people were running like Earth Air. I mean, Pascal's list, the Earth Fire list. A lot of people were really like leaning on these big bodies, big swings with Grisarm,
Yeah.
like and in the finals match, I really like try to be conscious of that and just that's why I'm like constantly killing all of his stuff. Is like I know if he sticks one of these minions, I'm gonna take 10.
Yeah.
Like I can't
There's
let
no
him.
way around
It's
it.
like
You could have anything and have a Shatter Strike and deal 10 or like you said a grip.
yeah,
It's just
Grisarm Trinket.
yeah.
Like as soon as he gets to attack with his cat, it's Trinket Grisarm 10 damage, and like that was kind of the motif of the day.
Absolutely.
So like people all around me were just like Grisarm, Grisarm, Grisarm. So I was like, that's what we need to focus on. And I think your list of like all that hard removal, Poison Nova is one that I kind of like always have had my eye on if I could fit in this list. Um, Especially with the updates to Hydra.
Yes.
Um,
Yep.
so
I have a
so I
Hydra
don't
over
think that
here.
was a yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think that was a bad call at all to like have to like jam all that hard removal in. I will say like I'm really kind of pretty proud of where the minion base has landed, and it's just really hard for me to like. There's a lot of cards I would love to add, but it's like what do I take out in its place?
I,
Like,
I will
even
I will
go ahead.
say, you mentioned it in one of our conversations at one point. I was like, I'm not a huge fan of my minion list here, because I feel like I'm missing 5/5s. And like this Phoenix, like it won me a game against Red Aggro, but I was like, it would have won me a game if it was a Manticore. And then you said it's like, yeah, I
Yeah,
like Manticore over Phoenix right now because there are um, vampires everywhere, and they just can't grapple shot kill my minion with Manticore. And I
yeah.
was like, that makes so much sense. I was like, oh my god, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and they can like trinket grapple shot, and that's like
But it's
that's
just
of them
ask
running around.
another card, right? It's just another thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And the untap ability is not to be ignored.
With
We're running 3
trinkets.
trinkets
Yeah.
too. Trinkets untap it at the end of the turn, and it's just to talk about a similar ability, Surga Harris. I've loved this card so much. I will say it's probably going to be the first thing I take out because of the rules change and how his lance breaks on
Mm.
sites now. When his lance didn't break on sites, he felt so good.
Really? I
Because
was
you could,
like, Circa Harris is like, am I supposed to be aggro with this guy? Am I supposed to be defend? Because like when you play him and then you attack it, and then he untaps it, he already is defending. He's defending the site behind him, but like
yeah,
I don't
his
know.
coverage. So definitely his like sight coverage on what he can block is pretty narrow. But it really helped when you had like a dude that was within his blocking range. Like
Hmm.
you could put a core some kobolds behind him, right? And then they would want to just try to trade into the core some kobolds, but now you have Serga Harris with a lance.
Okay.
So
So it's not
it
so
was really
much
hard for
protecting
them.
sites; it's protecting the second minion you want to play, or that the next
Yeah,
minion for the turn. Okay.
yeah, and just having that with the lance first strike 4 damage also kills vampires. Like it was just right at the perfect number when it got to keep its lance
Mm,
that like the untap ability, yeah, not as like not amazing, but it's just a four power 5 or 4 cost 5 health, 5
yeah,
defensive
it's
power
just harder to
guy
remove.
with first strike. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just kind of really annoying for people to remove, and it ended up being kind of a really good like mid-range card. So I played it a lot. I was really impressed with it. It was always a card people were like Serga Harris, and I was like, yeah. And then we played a lot, and they'd be like, Serga Harris is pretty annoying, and I'm like, yeah, it is really annoying. Um, but it'll probably be cut, which is really unfortunate because in our prize packs we pulled a foil Serga Harris, and I really was excited to run it. But after doing some more testing, it's not as good anymore. But like to say that's, yeah.
What is the main idea of the deck? And you mentioned it a little bit with like you took out manuscript because you want to be aggro, you want to be the pressure.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I think the deck, if you had to like put it in a box, it's an aggro deck. I think it has tools in it to, even in this really like defensive site meta, to like continue to put pressure on and to evade defensive sites, um, like Geyser, like Polar Explorers, which we'll talk about Polar Explorers quite a bit, and Jihad. But it like it just doesn't lose if you get to turn 5 and they're not dead, like some aggro decks do.
Mm.
Like it has a really good compressed middle game. It has really good combo pieces. So I like to say it's an aggro deck, but it really kind of depends on how your hand is opening your opening hand. And like the mulligan in this deck is pretty difficult actually to like to craft a good opening hand. Not only is it so threshold greedy, so you have to like kind of watch your mulligans on your sites pretty carefully, but also it's, you know, there are times where it can be a little awkward because like a hand with like Serga Harris, Bodica, and Sir Agravain, like in your opening hand, like yeah, that's 3 uniques, 3 powerful cards, but it's kind of an awkward hand where you really kind of want something like a Ludbog Cat or a Coruscant Kobolds, Red Cat Powers to get early pressure on, and if you're having like a Bodica as one of your earliest plays, it feels really bad, even though that's one of your strongest cards. So oftentimes you're like pitching those cards to try to get that early pressure, or if you have a hand that can accommodate it, you may like be keeping the Bodica to like get into something that's going to craft a good like mid-range game, right? You never control, obviously, but it can shift from like a just high pressure deck to like a really a little bit more value mid-range game, depending on how your kind of opening hand is and what your opponent's playing and how slow or fast you kind of want to take it. So I hope that kind of gives some answer to it,
Yeah,
but
no,
yeah, it's
it's an
mainly
aggro
an
deck.
aggro deck.
It's an aggro deck that can play a mid range game, and then it has all these busted uniques that can just kind of like poof. And speaking of busted
Yeah,
uniques, if we just maybe we can just go through them and say a little bit about the
yeah.
cards and the auras. Jihad. I don't know how much we can say about Jihad other than it's good.
Yeah, I mean,
It gets around
we've started
defensive
calling it,
sites. Yeah.
yeah, we call it the Jihad curve, where it feels pretty unbeatable to go turn 2 Jihad, turn 3 Red Cap, turn 4 Monstrous Lion or Red or Saracen Raiders. Like that in a lot of decks is just backbreaking.
Yeah.
Like they
And
can't
especially if you're on the
recover.
play, like it's just
Right.
you just
What are they
suffocate them.
gonna do?
Yeah.
What do they do? Yeah, they just die. Turn, yeah, like replace any of those 3 drops with any of the fire 3 drops. Replace any of the 4 drops with any of the fire 4 drops, and etc. Right? Like it's just
So
the
there's
card is so good.
the first unique that just wins you the game. The second
Yeah,
unique
yeah, exactly.
is
The
Atlantean
first one
Fate.
we've mentioned,
The
right?
Atlantean Fate just wins you the game sometimes. Like kill two
Hmm.
things, get a 2 for 1, bury their core or something, and turn off all their threshold. Like unless they're playing all ordinary sites, like Atlantean Fate just can again win you the game.
Yeah, and crazy enough, it's like one of the only ways for us to deal with artifacts.
Yeah,
So,
and
like
ores.
outside of it just
Like
being
ores
super
for this
busted.
deck is hard too.
I don't think this deals with auras.
No, no, the deck
Submersible.
itself is like
Oh,
there's nothing to deal with.
oh,
Yeah,
deal with auras. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Because just the fire water has. I mean, it didn't have anything to do with artifacts as much, but now
We'll get
with
there.
swap, and we'll
Yeah.
get to swap. Um, but Atlantean Fate is just all in a vacuum such a good card, and I think I mentioned that earlier, where like things are. It has so many cards that are just in a vacuum by themselves so powerful, and then you get to run all of them and they have synergy otherwise in some cases.
Yeah.
Um
And speaking of powerful
so
uniques that have synergies, the Ring of Morgan is just another one of those cards that like
ban it, please.
it's in
But
every
yes,
single top 8 deck. It's just like
of all time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's broken right in half. I don't I hate
The only problem with
it.
this deck is I can't go fetch Ring of Morgan.
Oh no.
So,
You have to play one of your other busted uniques.
yeah, exactly.
uh,
So, Trinkets with Ring of Morrigan, and
yeah,
then like Drums of Doom with Ring of Morrigan and Trinket is just you turn into I say you turn into IG-88 from the Star Wars series as he's like
just
doing 360s, just blasting all the guys. Yeah,
everything dies
it's
instantly. And then Trinkets is
yeah,
another
exactly.
card that isn't a unique, but it is like if you have that tempo, if you have that snowball, you just barrel through everybody. Makes all
Yeah,
those trades profitable. An
yeah,
interesting one
exactly.
here. You're not playing the axe, but you're playing mask. How did mask feel?
Yeah, so I think we just don't have enough big guys.
Mm-hmm.
We end up with two or three attackers pretty like in most cases. So shout out to Chris on this. I was a Grim Grisarm fan. I was advocating for it. I bought two foils. That may have been the reason why I wanted to run it in this deck. But after doing some testing, we landed on Mask being better because of the fact that you typically attacking with two or three minions that are like 3 power, not 5 power.
Yeah.
There's some interesting interactions that Grim would be better with than Mask, but Mask Mask is exceptionally broken with with a lot of things. The forced attack is actually you can position it in ways where your opponents now have to forced attack.
Yeah. You can.
Their
It's
units are forced to attack, and it's like an opportune for them. So I think it's actually better than Grim Grisarm, and I think we'll see more people playing it over time over
mask.
Grim Grisarm.
Like you said, mask is good against with a little bit more of a smaller minion density or smaller minions that you play more of.
Yeah,
And then that, like you said, that force attack can throw wrenches into your opponent's plans, and that's one of the best things you can do in sorcery. Since there are no instants or like instant speed interaction, this is how you can affect your opponent's turn, and they are forced to do something they don't want to do, and so that's why mask and that force attack is can be really strong. And
yeah,
I played a version where I played two masks and two drums because drums with a flip druid and a mask.
yes.
It's just
Forcing
like
them to like take and step into it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that was definitely a consideration. We probably, if we had known that the meta was going to be less Archimago, we probably would have been on two drums.
Yeah.
But drums just actually feel so bad in Archimago. We were like, let's just kind of split the difference here.
Um,
So
yeah, going into Gen Con, I still think Archimago is one of the best things you can be doing.
I still think so too.
It's just I
And I
think we
think we'll
didn't
see
see
more
it
of it.
because people wanted to have fun and play their car, play the thing they wanted. They felt like they had the strongest chance with. And
Yeah,
Archimago
definitely.
takes a lot of practice, but yeah,
Yeah, I think the 45-minute round timers like pushed some of the people who weren't as proficient on it, who like really have to go into the tank
yeah.
for turns that like more experienced players could probably do a little bit more quickly. I think similar to when I was talking about Arthurian Legends dropping and everybody was playing aggro, I think the rules change got everybody excited to play the big like combo burst damage
Yeah.
Grimgrisarm Mask of Mayhem strike thing. So I think there are a few variables, but I think the dust will settle and we'll be back on Archimagos in SCG cons in the next couple months. So
Once people have like
everybody prep your decks.
yeah,
Yeah,
have a little practice with the new like it's just like it's not a new set, but there's a new environment, so like control takes a little
definitely.
while to develop. But
Yeah, for sure.
going on to minions, you love your polar explorers. I recently
Oh my
saw
god.
these like spike a little bit on TCG Player for a foil version. Um, what's so great about polar explorers?
Group, Chris and Nick, we all kind of like jokingly talked about this card because we were like, haha, isn't that so funny? You can play this and turn 2 swing with your Tawny. And we were like, that's so cheeky. And then we played it, and then I was like, wait a second, no, this solves a lot of problems. Like Polar Explorers, the amount of times I've won because my opponent is like camping on their back row with like defensive sights, and I have like a Polar Explorers in hand, and I top deck a Red Cap Poweries, right, and then play both of them and swing backwards, and and they don't have blockers because they weren't anticipating something coming from that direction, right?
Yeah.
So like, it solves Pebble Paths, it solves Gnome Hollows, it solves Monstrous Lion being in awkward spots a lot
Ooh,
of times.
good point. Yeah.
Um, it's it's. I mean, in my finals game, you get to see some really cool interactions with Boudica taking a step backwards and then lava flowing on top of the avatar and killing a Pudge Butcher. So like it just does so much in a deck that already has positional advantage with Tawny being able to cast spells wherever you want, being able to take a step all the way across the map with Tawny, Tawny being airborne, not being able to be intercepted in a lot of cases, so you can like take the step, just move and not attack, and then you disintegrate their thing that's right there,
I'm
right? So it's like,
Yeah, I'm reliving a one of my games, and I was like, I was trying to get Tawny. I got my opponent down to 5 pretty quickly off of a turn 2 pond into a cat, into another cat, and some other crap. But I was trying to get Tawny in a position where I could use Lava Flow to deal that last 5, get him to door.
yeah,
Yeah, I can see it.
yeah, oh yeah, dude, it's so good. The card is slept on heavily, but I mean, I think there's merit to it. I hope people see the merit in it. Actually, I hope not, because I don't want to see my opponents playing it, because it's hard to play around, right? I
So
mean, we know how powerful Ruler of Thule is, right? But
Yeah, so I guess my other question, like Polar Explorers is only your units. Would you ever play Magellan's Globe instead of Polar
so
Explorers?
no, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
And a
I would
lot of the
agree.
reason is because the one-sided aspects. I will say
Yes,
there are decks that utilize it better, like the Earth Water Druid deck, being
snag
able to
deck.
hook
Yeah,
backwards,
yeah,
being able to Mr. Storeworm backwards can be a big deal. Like do the lethal breath unexpectedly, but this one not actually connecting the realm too, and they just get to move is like keep you away from me
it keeps you
is
safe,
essentially the
but it lets you have access to your opponent. And no,
yeah,
I fully agree.
exactly.
Polar Explorers, that effect is better one sided than everybody gets access to it.
Yep, totally.
All right,
So
I might have
I
to
do love
try.
Globe though.
I might have to try out Polar Explorers. It's like it's just like 2 mana, and but again, I think I've said it so many times, but movement is better than you think, and surprise movement is even better than that.
Yeah, because it's so reasonable to like. I mean, oftentimes you'll see one early, and it is pretty unassuming. Like you're like, oh, it's just a 2/2 in a lot of cases, but oftentimes it's a 2/2 that just like stays around, right? Like they don't go out of their way to kill this, or like if you see it in your hand and you're like, I don't really want to just throw it out there, and they like I mentioned the red cap poweries, then all of a sudden you're like you play both of them and you get your red cap poweries in an awkward position for them to deal with, and then on your next turn you can still attack with the polar explorers. Like the polar explorers can essentially easily get in from a safe position as well. So again, it's been constantly impressive pretty much every game I've played it.
Very nice. And then I don't know if we can say too much about violence. It's great into the mere aggro match. You violent, they're violent, but they kobolds. You play another kobold. You just do the trade kind of thing. It's a kill spell with
Exactly.
tawny and
Drums of
deserts.
Doom.
With a tawny, a desert, and a violent, you can kill 4/4s and not lose
Yeah.
lose a card. You actually go up a card because you stick a minion and you've spent all these non-card resources to remove their 4/4.
Yeah, and you keep your tawny in a lot of cases. Like you throw the tawny into it, you play the desert, you get your tawny back, you ping them, and then you violent, and it's
Yeah,
like
it's just like
sweet,
it's one of those like
sweet.
things. Once those things kind of click for people, it's like, oh my god, this is great. I can kill your 4/4s and not spend a hard removal.
Yeah,
Sign me up.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly.
we've talked about Logbug Hat a little bit. This is a like quote unquote restriction to water site is like play it on your back row or play it like Logbug Hat can be great. And again, off pond is busted.
And there's enough water sites. I mean, water's pretty prevalent in the meta. Like there's enough water decks where you often just get to play this. Even if it's on turn 3, you play it on their like awkward site to deal with, right?
Yep.
Because they're also running water,
Yep.
and it's just like okay, like so like the restriction is such a boon. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the card's nuts.
So we'll move on to another busted unique. What are we up to? 5 now? 6? 4?
Yeah, right.
Morgana Le
Yeah.
Fay. The rules changes did hurt her a little bit. Like once you cast something, she loses stealth. Didn't that come up in the finals game a little bit?
It did come up in the finals game. I think every rules change that hurt, or like every rules change that hurt things, I experienced in the finals. Every rules change that helped things, Pascal got to like block with his Pudge Butcher and stuff like that. So it's like it was like I was getting slapped around by the rules change so much. But yeah, it did come up in the so it did come up in the finals because I couldn't immediately like play the Morgana and then cast the spell, one of the spells out of her hand and keep her stealth. Like I had to play something out of my hand to do it. But she was gonna attack on her next turn anyway, so like I didn't really and lose the stealth, so I didn't care that turn to play the thing. But yeah, it did come up.
But she's still an amazing card. Still, like it's
yes,
one card for 3 cards. So you go up
you
2 cards.
cannot
Yeah.
not run her. Especially having access to self-same simulacrums. She's
Ugh.
a spellcaster, so say she ever sticks around long enough and you get to use her hand, you could theoretically pact with the devil her if you'd like. I mean, it's just an option. But I don't want to jump around too much. But she was a consideration for why I put Boneyard in the deck, and we can cover that when we get to sites. But
But
just remember all the
recurring busted
uniques.
unique minion. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seems good.
Yeah.
So really, really good. All around, like yeah, man, everybody knows, like
Yeah,
Morgana
Morgana
is
is
the shit.
one of the best cards in AL. Like it's right up there with the ring.
Yeah,
Ring is S plus 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 in the stratosphere. Morgana is S plus, right? Like she's
yeah,
yeah.
100%. So
Kobolds is another one of those like old school. Not I want to say old. I said old school. Oh God.
yeah,
Alpha beta
I think you
aggro
can say
cards.
old school now. We're both old school sorcery players. Yeah, from Alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like really, really good, and then it kind of stopped seeing play for a second,
Yeah, it's
and
just two
then
toughness is like I would rather play Violimps because they come down, do the
yeah.
thing, and they're 1 mana cheaper. Kobolds get removed just as easy as Violimps. I'm still kind of like on Violimps. I maybe
Oh, oh
run
my God.
2 of them,
Oh my
but
God, Kobolds is so much better than Violent.
oh
It's
okay,
absurdly,
okay.
yeah, it's insane how good this
I
is.
guess
Because
the
like,
ceiling of Kobolds is so much higher than Violimps.
yes,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. So you think like we're running 3 trinkets already. Like, you no longer need the Tawny to attack. You just desert Kobolds, put a trinket in their hands, and now you're killing 4 power things at the end of your turn. Like, it's it's just really, 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 really good. It's essentially 3 extra copies of Violent, but it's
But
like Violent plus,
it's Violimp
right?
with
Like it's
upside, right?
Yeah, it's violent with upside. They they just really help kind of keep the board clear. I mean, and then with all the strike stuff in the finals match, it actually came up. If that was a violent instead of a quarrelsome kobold, I would have lost that game. Because they strike at the end of the turn, all of this like double strike damage stuff affects their end of turn strike. Like it's really good. They've just gotten better. Yeah, they're 2 power, but generally, if you're playing on the offensive, like
Yeah, you
if
don't.
they're
It's just
you don't
deploying
care.
threats
Yeah,
constantly. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So red cap power is just. I mean, on Quarrelsome Kobolds, a lot of people are running Colicky Dragonets. I was running Colicky Dragonets in the first iteration. I thought the 3 power made a huge difference. Also, like the 2 power is actually a boon because of Gnome Hollows, right? Like they
Yep.
can get into Gnome Hollows, strike for 2, to the Archimego standing behind the Gnome Hollows. It's a big deal. So huge boon that they're actually 2 power, ironically.
And
Red Cap
then
power is
and
just
Poweries is
so crazy.
another one of those like oppressive charge minions, like you mentioned with Jihad.
Yeah,
Did you see
yeah.
much Pebble Paths or Earth? Like there wasn't a whole lot
I
of
didn't
Earth out
see
there.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see much Pebble Pass, and with the codex change as well, Red Cap Poweries, I've seen people starting to take them out of their Steam or Hot Springs lists. They got a massive buff from the codex because of the immobilization changes. So now you can't just play a quagmire or a
Yeah.
bog and bog it down, because if they're standing on a site they can attack, they can still attack there and like live the
That's
turn.
one of the things I
So
think why people have gone down on Redcap is because when Quagmire was like starting to like see some play in Archimago and other control lists, Redcaps just died.
die.
Yeah,
Right.
but
So not anymore. No, they're just even better. Like they
yeah.
needed to be, right? Like no, they were already so good.
Yeah, so another good aggressive minion here. Another busted unique. We got to count
Even
these at
more
the end of it.
busted.
Sir Agravain. The new rules changes. If Agravain triggers with, say, you attack their avatar with Tawny or whatever, and Agravain triggers. Previously, you could like chump block that attack, and Agravain's would hit the chump blocker, but now it will. There's no way to redirect that strike. He always is going to hit
Right.
the thing that you trigger the attack on.
Yeah, so yeah, previously the if a unit blocked, it would be the new target of the attack, and Sir Agravain's attention would be drawn to that. But
Yeah,
Sir Agravain triggers immediately on the declaration of the attack, but resolves after the fight. So it came up in 2 of my 7 games
yeah.
that
Ira
where Sir
hit me for
Agravain.
9 because I couldn't do anything and I didn't know about the rules change.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Like it's
Yeah,
crazy, and it's even if you do know about the rules, sometimes like you just can't avoid it,
yeah,
right? Like, if they have 2 things that they can declare an attack with, then Sir Agravain will hit you for 6 or more, right? So,
yes. And
so
then
it's pretty crazy.
Agravain also builds into this like, how do I remove 4/4s or 5/5s? Give it a trinket,
Yes.
attack with Tawny. Agravain hits it for 4. Like you can kill almost anything with an Agravain and a Tawny. Um,
Yeah. The amount of times that like people have curved out with a vampire, and I just have Tawny in play, and I just play Agravain and attack the vampire with my Tawny, and that Tawny deals 1, and then Agravain strikes for 3. Um, it just feels so above rate. And then the stealth, and then the plus movement. Like this card, should have been 5 mana. Like
I
it
would say
should
at
have
least
been
4. At least 4, make it a 3/2 for 4
something,
mana. Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So it's insane. There was a game against a battle mage, and I was able to have Agravain outside of. I played Mask of Mayhem, but I had my Agravain standing outside of the effect, and I attacked with Tawny. My opponent's battle mage avatar was in the aura of the mask, so I attacked with Tawny. Sir Agravain struck my opponent's battle mage for Oh, I had a trinket on the Agravain as well. Struck my opponent's battle mage for 8 unblockable. Then I attacked with my avatar to his battle mage. My Agravain struck him for another 8 from 2 1-power attacks. He took 16 unblockable damage, and it was just like
So
absurd.
I have a rules question for you. So
Yeah.
if the strike is coming, does it come from Agravain or is it like the
So
like
the
yeah?
I actually asked the judge this before I played the mask, before
Oh,
I did that, because I wasn't sure. Because the strike was taking place inside the aura, the unit being struck was inside the aura, the strike was doubled.
so the
So
strike
so
is on the unit that is being struck,
being struck,
and
yeah,
then that was nearby mask. Okay.
yeah, that was in the mask aura. So like that was also absurd.
just
So
all these A plus B combos, all everything has synergy in a vacuum. These are really strong card. It's just like, God, ugh.
yeah,
It sounds
oops, all
exhausting.
good stuff. Like
Yeah,
oops, all good stuff.
it really kind of is. And then Boudica. Boudica is one of, like you said, it's a bad, like, you don't want to like curve out into Boudica for your 4-drop, but if you draw Boudica turn 6 and you have like 2 minions on
You
board and
have
like
2 minions and
sweet,
yeah,
and
it's like
you always have Tawny, so you just need one other
yeah,
thing. Yeah,
right. It's crazy. It's actually been kind of on my chopping block, ironically.
yeah, it's on my chopping block
Mask
too.
of Mayhem
I cut it in and out all
feels.
the time.
Yeah, I don't blame you. The card feels so strong, but it's always one that feels kind of heavy in my hand. The 3 fire threshold. I hate chasing threshold.
Yes.
Like if to play this, right? Because then you're not having minions on the board. You're like drawing sights. Mask of Mayhem feels like a threshold less version of Boudica in a lot of cases.
Makes
So,
sense. Yeah.
and the Monstrous Lion,
Yeah.
especially, I mean, we saw a prominence like several battle mages at Gen Con, but like I said, Chris is a battle mage main, so this card just feels really good into battle mage. It
And
survives.
at the at floor, it kills some other aggro 3/3 for and it leaves a body behind. Like yeah, it can't attack sites. I Monstrous Lion is one of those like another like kind of yeah, it's good, kind of it's a little weird sometimes. It's just
Sometimes it feels a little awkward.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like you
For
said earlier with the Polar Explorers, like you just added another thing to make Monstrous Lion usable mid to late game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, the Polar Explorers help it feel less awkward. There was a long time where I was like, "Ooh, do I run Saracen Raiders or Monstrous Lion?" It was like between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And after doing a lot of testing with Chris and Nick, we just landed on like Porque los nos dos. Like, well, let's just run both of them, right? Like, we can jam all of the,
Just don't think about it. Just play it. Just play everything.
right.
Yeah.
But you like them both. Just play them both. And Saracen Raiders is also just insane. And then obviously Ruler of Soul. Let's chalk it up. One
Let's
more
put it
tally
on
mark on
another
the
tally,
thing.
another busted unique. I
Yeah.
I don't
If
know how much we can say
you
about ruler that we haven't said before, like in long conversations. It's just one of those like if you have 2 minions on board and it just like punches you out of nowhere and you take 8 or 12 and you're like, ouch.
Yeah, yeah, you can pretty much blame games you lose on not seeing Ruler of Thule, I think. And
Yeah.
so I think the card is just so good. Obviously, the value is insane. The repositional aspect of it is crazy. Self-same simulacrum with all of these busted uniques. I mean, self-saming a Sir Agravain
Oh
while
my
they're both
god, man.
stealthed is disgusting.
Ugh.
They're so mobile, they're so hard to deal with, and like eventually you just like pincer strike, do 1 million damage with them. It's crazy.
I'm
So
just it's like I know like Steam it gets the joke of like it's just it's a pile of uniques, but you've added two like the floor of these guys is pretty low, but man, the ceiling like you just said like getting another Agravain, good lord, man.
yeah, yeah, it's insane. It's really crazy. But like self same was not in the list until the codex change, because they fixed how multiple Bruins interact.
Oh,
And previously, it was the case that if you took if your avatar took 4 damage and you had 2 Bruins nearby, both of them would take 4 damage for your avatar, and both of them would die, even though the net damage was 4. And it didn't make sense in my opinion. Luckily, they addressed it, but at bare minimum, this card is a Bruin,
yeah,
and
because if
so being
if you
able to
need something to copy, you just flip for Bruin, right?
you just flipped it for Bruin, and like flipping into Bruin prematurely is like not something great that you want to be forced to do. But if you're at that position where you don't have any minions on play and you have a self-same simulacrum, sometimes going from 0 minions to 2 royal bodyguards for 4 mana is enough to like bring you back. So, and then also if you're on death's door, like dealing with 2 Bruins is a nightmare.
Well, dealing with
So
one Bruin is a freaking nightmare. So I've held
yeah.
disintegrates and things in hands. It's like, all right, just got to get him the door, then I can deal with Bruin. But I
Yeah.
usually you only have one way to deal with a Bruin, but having, like you said, two
Yeah.
Bruin, ugh.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's actually a good point. I think I talk about it in the little deck highlight that the one of the biggest enemies to this deck is fellow Steam or Hot Springs Water Fire Druids,
yeah,
because they so efficiently kill Bruins in a lot of cases. They kill your Tawny so easily. Like it's its own worst enemy in a lot of
yeah.
cases,
Their
and it
mirror
really comes
matches
down to
is
like
they're very good. Like if you're in a mirror match, both decks are very good at stopping your opponent's thing they're trying to do. Like you're both like,
yeah,
yeah,
you're both deserting each other's tawnies off the board all the time. You're both like one's playing a Coruscant Kobolds, the other person's like violimping it right away. Then
yeah.
they're playing a red cap, and then you're playing a Coruscant Kobolds with a trinket, and you're just like killing each other's stuff constantly. So it really comes down to kind of like who sees the nuts, or like who sees their
Atlantean
like
Fade, their
Manticore, yeah,
Jihad,
Atlantean Fade,
their
yeah,
whatever. Yeah. If both
right,
players are
exactly.
playing the best they can and making all the right smart decisions, it is so draw dependent in the mirror.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, like I keep referencing the finals. I got the amount of top deck luck I had, especially in the last like 5 turns, is
but
insane. Like I should have lost that game.
but is it luck or is it like that's the deck you built though, right? Like that's every card you draw is like, "Oh, this is an amazing card," right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, maybe you hit
I
some spots
definitely
that were
built the
really good, but like I'm just saying
like
overall.
drawing the Coruscant Kobolds when he had a 4 power guy with Grimgris arm that Kobolds could kill. That card would have like chased me down and killed me immediately. That was pretty lucky. I mean, there was so many. I mean, obviously, drawing into the Coruscant bias off the cantrip of Geyser
Yeah.
was insane. But
Uh,
yeah, I did build. You're right. I built the deck to do that. Give me that exact card every time I need it. So
um, we talked a little about Zoga Harris in the beginning. What you mentioned about like attacking with Zoga Harris and then playing a minion behind it to block the minion or protect that minion you just played, and it untaps. Like that makes so much more sense and why you like Gaharis. And then you mentioned the lance changes, but um,
yeah, yeah, for sure. It like if you're he was a great addition into aggro matchups because he comes down early enough. He has the lance for the first strike. He can attack to keep parity on life, and then his untap lets you protect your other units generally. Like you can play them nearby or adjacent, so you can block in a lot of cases. But he did get way worse with the lance breaking on sites now.
yeah.
But and his 5 power, like 5 defensive power, was just enough, like just big enough that it was just hard to get rid of him.
And
But
it's
he's
like,
finally
what
coming
does
out.
your opponent do? Throw two cards into this to get enough damage on him to remove them? Yeah,
Yeah, when the lance stayed, like it was like a throw. If they're playing Druid, throw a tawny in to break the lance, then throw 2 guys into him because he has 5 power,
just a
right?
huge
Like
resource
that was
drain, right?
a lot of investment for a relatively like low amount of investment for you, and you generally get value out of them. So
Mm.
it's like at least like tossing a tawny or tossing a lance to a tawny, right? Like that can be a thing. So like just a lance producer. I wish there was more lance producers in this that were viable because lances are so good with these like charge minions and things.
Yeah.
But but yeah, he. Like, I wish he was better than he is currently with the rules change.
You got
But I still
a
like him.
lot of cards got better with rules changes in this list, but this is the one card
Yeah,
that kind of like, I don't know about that.
Sergei Harris paid for all of their sins. Yeah, for sure. He paid for Sir Agravain's sins
Oh god,
by
that's Sir
just
Aggravate's
being
so
irrelevant.
yeah. Theus is one of those original alpha beta cards that is just backbreaking if you know how to play it.
Yeah,
I've run into Theus so many times against opponents, and even when I was learning, like just play a Theus on turn 6 because that's all. What else am I gonna do? It's just like you don't do that. You have
yeah.
to craft a
It's a harder.
turn for Theus.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely one of the harder. Like you have to be very intentional about it. It was mainly in there. I was again predicting a lot more Archimagos. I faced one Archimago in the 7 rounds. And Courtesan Thighs didn't come up. The ability to I found that, and like in my sites, there's some sites that are missing, like Vesuvius. I took out because I'm running Courtesan Thighs, and there's so many
Ooh.
opportunities for, like, if you ever have to
Yeah.
play Quartus and Thias and you have a Vesuvius, they're just like, okay, flip you into Bruin, blow up your Vesuvius, kill your Bruin. And it's just like, okay, that sucked. Like,
Yeah, that was pain.
so yeah, that was
Yeah.
pain. I lost my Bruin for like literally no investment on their part.
Yeah.
So, I think the card can be super, super, super double-edged. But it's just one of those cards that like you said, if you can craft it, even if you're not playing it just to kill them, you can do some pretty
It's so
detrimental
good
things.
into control. If you like dump your hand and maybe you flipped at some point, but it's like if you're going against Death Speaker control or Enchantress control or Archimago, Theus can just disrupt the whole control's game plan and like, and then they pass to you and they control and they draw you a sight and then they don't do anything because you don't give them any tools to like mess your like. It can be very strong.
Yeah, for sure. And then at very minimum, like
It's a kill spell.
you have them on death's door and you make them take a step while they're in your aura
Yeah,
and
because
you win the
Druid
game.
does
So
everything.
it's like because Druid does everything unreasonably so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Manticore is one of those cards I wish I was playing in my list. Like you said previously, grapple shots with a trinket on a vampire kills it, but it's like asking a little bit more, and it's a little bit beefier for like those other aggro matchups. How did you like the untap? You kind of like have the theme with Sir Harris, but Manticore is an
Yeah,
airborne, so it can block even more.
yeah, definitely the block potential is increased. Just that's the 5 power is we all in alpha beta we talked about you got to be at 4 power. Like 4 is the new 3 power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody was started to like they were like running boss trolls, and then we started running um, um, the worm sandworm to
Yep.
like have the 4 power to beat the boss troll, right? And so like
And
it's
then
just like
yeah,
5 is the new 4, right? So having that 5th power that is just so good. The lethal, I mean, it's 5 power. Like if it's not, but it's actually relevant now with the freaking
with
Hydras.
Hydras.
So like
Yep.
having a lethal unit is big now. And the questing beast is just like you can think of it as a third copy as of a Manticore. Although I argue that questing beast has one of the highest skill ceilings. There are games where I've lost because I like flagrantly took a step at the end of the turn with Questing Beast, and there are
Yeah.
games where I've won where I like really strategically took a step, like was able to do something and then took a step into like a pivotal location that Questing Beast normally like other units wouldn't have been
the
able to do
the
and
best
attack.
thing
So
the best thing I've done with and seen questing beast is like attack, be aggressive, and then come back safe, and like getting back on
yeah,
a water site or like moving somewhere that's out of like a poison nova range or like just those little like again I've said it before I'm gonna keep saying it movement is better than you think.
movement is better than you think. It really is. And that exact situation came up in my game versus Hane on Archimago. and swap. It was kind of a combination of Questing Beast being amazing and swap. Hayden was on Air, Earth, Archimago, so luckily he wasn't running Poison Novas. But I played a Questing Beast on a water side of mine behind a Gnome Hollows, and like at the end of my turn, he was like, "Do you want to take a step?" Like I think he was like, "Do you?" He was like offering it, and I was like, "No," because in my head I was like, "No," because it's on a water site, and I had a swap in my hand. So then I play another site, and then I have a Tawny to where the Tawny can get in and attack, swap with the Questing Beast. The Questing Beast now gets to get in an attack and then take a step back onto a water site, and then he just has berry removal, so he can't bury it.
Mm.
So it was just like, especially against Archimagos, like being able to like sure up that damage and protect your minion is so big, and that step is just so pivotal. So again, Questing Beast, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Positioning matters so much. Like I know I at least in my play group, it's like Archimago is king, and just why would you play anything other than Archimago? But in mid-range metas, which I feel like we're going into with all the rules and strike changes, positioning is forefront, the most important, one of the most important skills in where you play your minions. And Questing Beats gets to say, I get to attack and be safe, or I get to attack and
Yeah,
move. Um,
right,
yeah,
right. And I think this game is like the most eloquent and beautiful, not to sound sappy, in a really mid-range game and a game that's very on the board.
yeah,
I think so cards that are really expressed on the board, like Questing Beasts and things like that, I really have an affinity for, an attraction to playing with them, and so getting two in a list that is as strong as this feels really rewarding.
yeah.
So
No, I think the sorcery is at its peak when both players are jockeying for position and position, like where they're playing their minions. It turns into this weird chess game. Um,
yeah,
yeah.
100%.
And then going into Magic's, another crazy unique Plague of Frogs is like I think I ended up cutting Plague of Frogs out of my list because it's like, yeah, it's a good defensive card. It's 3 threshold. It's good with Ruler Thule. Past that, I'm not a huge lover.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think you're wrong for that. There are games where you see Plague of Frogs and you roll your eyes. You're just like, ugh, this is
but like
trash.
it chump blocks forever, right? It's just
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, at bare minimum, like if you if you block 10 damage of attacks between the 7 blockers, a 1 mana gain 10 feels pretty good,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
so the card's good. Its combo potential is high. It is just one that it can feel pretty awkward in your hand periodically. Uh, just to get, I mean, sometimes like you're like fighting to get to that third water threshold for a Plague of Frogs, and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
But if Floodplain didn't exist, like probably for Plague of Frogs wouldn't be in this list.
Floodplain also does
So,
a lot of heavy lifting for threshold fixing.
oh my god, that card is nuts. Um,
Geyser
Geyser.
is I.
Yep.
This is I feel like it's just a solid cantrip, but also can kill a root spider.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yep,
And the airborne,
does matter. It does matter.
it matters a lot, especially with the rise of as avatars of air again.
Hmm.
Playing bottomless pit, um, being able to like geyser something to
Geyser
let
your
it move
questing
in.
beast onto a bottomless pit, and then it just keeps punching it because they can't block it because they don't have
Because
an airborne thing.
yeah, and even if they do have an airborne thing, giving the thing your thing, like your questing beast airborne, so that it can move into the bottomless pit there safely, and then once it's there, it doesn't matter if it
Yep,
has airborne or
it's
not.
hovering over the giant horrible pit.
It's just punching the horrible pit constantly for 5, right?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
just like, well, they're like, oh, well, that I don't know how to deal with this 5 power questing beast because like I was gonna throw it into the bottomless pit, but now you already got it there and it's alive
And
still.
Avatar
So
Rayo can't push it out of bottomless pit, and like, yeah,
yeah, it's just so good. It's always been um again like a card that I think you you read it and you're like, meh, but
Yeah.
like it serves so many purposes in this deck. At very least, like say you're chasing that water threshold, like geysering to get to that second water to
Oh yeah.
play your Ruler of Thule. Like if you really need to, in a worst case scenario, like you can, and so that's cool. Um,
I do
Polymorph.
I will say the cantrips in Alpha Beta are I think some of the best cantrips we're ever going to get in the game because
I hope so.
in AL a lot of the cantrips like Vanishment and other things say draw a spell.
Yeah,
This says draw a card, kind of like Blink, and so if you need a site for whatever reason, you can draw a site. It
it
just
comes up.
that
It's relevant.
just that little bit of extra flexibility in your cantrip matters a lot.
It does. It does. Yeah, I hope the cantrips don't continually to get. I hope we don't see power creep on these because like
They're already pretty
I can't
efficient.
even think
Yeah,
of what a better iteration of Blink would look like.
one
I would
mana
lose my
for a
mind.
blink.
Yeah, one mana. Exactly. Like that's what we need in this game.
Yeah. Polymorph is we can kind of group all these like positionally hard removal cards with polymorph, disintegrate, and I guess you're just playing these two are like the main positional things that are off of Tani. It's just so good.
Yeah, I would run two polymorphs. I would have run two polymorphs had I known that there was going to be less Archimagos and more big guy meta.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the cards are great. Deal with hard things. I will say a quick nuance about them because they banish. Polymorph banishes when it transforms, and disintegrate just banishes
Mm-hmm.
outright. Um, Boneyard becomes more relevant
Mm,
because you can like banish their vampire and not have to worry about it coming back if you have a Boneyard later in the game.
good point.
So, um, ironically, there was some synergy there, and I was like, "Wow, this makes sense." And they're cards I want to run already anyway. So,
Yep. And then you kind of mentioned with questing beast with swap. This font of life is swap. Um,
yeah.
how did the swap feel at Gen Con?
Oh my God, so good.
Yeah,
It's insane. Yeah, I took out the two Shatter Strikes for two swaps. Um, and
just said fuck it
and
on
I just said
artifact
like
removal.
if yeah, I like what's better than destroying an artifact with a positional like artifact destruction spell, and that one that can't deal with monuments is one that just takes it
Hmm.
and also has all these other advantages. So felt amazing every single time I played it. It felt so good. Also solves problems with Monstrous Lion. Also can I
You can
stole
use
somebody's
Tawny and
peace
move
stone that they
around and
played.
swap with your
Oh
monstrous
my god,
land.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
swap with the yeah, swap, yeah, exactly. Like so unfortunately, like with the Dragon Lord cards, I think that Monument is really cool and interesting. I think because Swap was printed, I don't think it'll ever see play because
No,
because it's just so easy to take their Monument now.
I'm famously wrong. Everybody's wrong about card evaluations, but man, all those Dragon Lord cards feel cool, but I don't think
They're cool.
they're gonna be huge meta changing cards.
I think that is a great way to encapsulate it. So I'll say it, everybody, don't pay $350 for it. It's not worth it. They're
It's not.
cool,
I'm gonna
but
say something. Just make a proxy. just
yeah, make a proxy.
write on a piece of rubble or a token or something, and just say this is your whatever card, and you'll have just as much
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you'll realize pretty quickly that it's not something you would want to take to a tournament anyway.
yeah.
So, the Dragon Lord cards are cool. I think some of them are like okay, but I don't mean to sidebar us too much.
That's okay.
But yeah, Swap feels amazing. Long story short, Swap is not one of those cards. Luckily, it's an exceptional. There'll be
Why?
an
Hold on.
abundance
Why do
of
you think
them.
they trade? They gave out swaps instead of Day of Judgment. Which one do you think is more playable?
Swap, 100%. Swap will be at least a two of in every single water deck, and I think you'll have decks forcing water to play Swap. I
Yeah,
think the card is so good.
I think Druid just keeps. Druid is one of those like forever avatars. We're gonna see this until end of time. It's just it's so
Yeah,
good.
anything that has any kind of
value.
synergy or interaction with a minion or a thing,
Hmm.
Druid will be able to
You always
abuse it.
have something on board, which is a huge
Yeah,
uh, part of sorcery. Is like we've talked about all this removal, and killing minions is so easy once you like know how
yeah,
to do it. Um, it
yeah, definitely.
at the highest competitive level stuff, like you maybe get to keep one minion if you put a lot of effort in keeping that one minion. um, but
Right,
everything trades, everything dies, grapple shots. It's just everything dies instantly. Um,
right. So, and swap being able to like I haven't done it yet, but just like putting a Pudge Butcher of theirs in an irrelevant location that'll never hook anything. Like that sounds awesome. Like I can't wait to do that.
yeah,
So
and then has the upside of stealing your opponent's ring and other broken artifacts. Right? It's really strong.
right, I stole my opponent's they turned one P stoned and I was on the draw.
Ooh,
And I on my third
ooh,
turn stole their P stone and put a tawny, traded them a tawny for a P stone,
dirty.
but kept the control and then that allowed me to catch up on the race. So that was really fun.
And then the next one, I really like your inclusion of Minor Explosion for all these dang stealth minions. It's just more. It's just a good way to remove uh, hard to remove minions.
Morgana
The
is a
Morganas,
is a Morgana. She be out there.
the
And
Agravains. Also, Minor of Explosion with Tawnies kills 4/4s. Again, like we've been talking about, 4/4s just
mhm.
die against Druid.
The ceiling. I took out Minor Explosion for my cornerstone locally,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole time, the whole day, I was like, I wish I had Minor Explosion. The card is just so versatile in this deck. The 2-for-1 potential um, it's just so high. It kills Bruin, which is a big deal because
If
Bruin
it,
takes 3, their Avatar takes 3, so Bruin takes 6 and
yeah,
dies,
if they
which is great.
flip, yeah.
Um,
And then it's off of
yeah,
Tawny, so there's like Tawny, Minor Explosion kill you. Like it's so good.
yeah, 100%. So the card has been really impressive at an ordinary. I mean, I think it's well worth 2. I would love to get a third in if I could figure out what to take out because I
Everything's
mean,
so
Avatar of
good, right?
Air.
Yeah,
Yeah, Avatar of Air. You know, you can 2-for-1 their Gyre and their Palaberry bats
all their little
and for 3 mana
annoying
and
minions.
yeah,
Yep.
you're just like sweet. This card feels amazing. So Minor Explosion, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
And then another card, just we'll add it to the pile of uniques. Pact with the Devil and Tawny is just like it's free. I don't know if it's it's
Yeah,
free, but it's 2 less mana than a Grandmaster Wizard, and it's one of the best cards in control decks. Like, bleh.
yeah, it's really good. I would consider putting a River of Flame in this deck too. Um, to be able to cast like subsurface minor explosions and stuff
Oh, good
as
point.
well.
Yeah.
But like being able to like pact the river, say you've already flipped, is something that is
Can you pact a river?
viable. You can sacrifice the River of Flame with Pact of the Devil, yeah.
I learned a thing. Cool.
So I'm 99.9999% sure I have that accurate. So but yeah, like that it's just so much value. Um and and
Yeah.
well, I mean, how do you how do you
You
argue
have
with
Pact with the
4
Devil
for
and you have
3
Morgana
cards?
Le Fay. If you see either of those, you're up 2 cards. It's just
Right.
yeah. And then
Um,
more holistic picture, you're up 2 cards with any of those, and then you have deserts and tawnies to remove all their cards for basically free. You're not spending cards, so
free.
you're up cards there. You have so many weird little like card advantage engines of removing your opponent's minions for not spending cards.
Yeah, it feels like at its core, almost everything in the deck feels like you're getting card advantage. Like even crazy enough, floodplain. It feels like a card advantage engine because like say you only have one floodplain, but you have a Ludbog cat in your hand. Like you don't need to draw a second water site. you can still draw a spell, right? So like Floodplain in essence lets you continue to draw your spells until you get to turn 4, to where you're like, okay, do I want to draw a site or a spell, or do I want to draw a spell and tap to draw a site? So like everything kind of feeds into you continually drawing spells, which is where I think I almost messed up in the finals game. I drew a bunch of sites that game. I did see Pact with the Devil and Morgana Le Fay, but I ended up being empty-handed pretty quickly after all of that. But I was drawing a bunch of sites, whereas normally in this deck you get to freely draw a bunch of spells and kind of tap to draw sites because your Tawny is the one moving to cast positional spells, not your avatar. So it's just like, in essence, it's a weirdly very efficient card drawing deck, which is crazy. Because you look at it and you're like, this is just, there's a few card draw
It's just
engines. It's like,
aggro,
no, all
right?
of it is
You
card
just
draw.
look at it.
Yeah,
It's just like, oh, it's just aggro. No, it is a card advantage deck. Everything you're doing, you're like you said, positionally, you have Tawny, so you don't have to tap and do that. You're drawing a site, and so that's a card. You're using deserts, Tawnies, and violence and everything to remove cards, so that's a card. You have Morgana Le Fay, you have Pact with the Devil. Those are extra cards. Everything just helps you keep drawing spells and helps you keep drawing gas.
yeah, definitely. So it's just wild how it kind of formed into this, because like when I was building it, um, I was not omniscient to that information. Like I was
Yeah,
not
you kind of
privy
not
to the.
not that you fell into that, but it's like, oh, this is why it feels so good. You start analyzing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Exactly. Yeah, like dang, why does my opponent keep looking at me and saying, "How do you have that many cards in your hand?"
yeah.
Like that
It's like, I
happens
don't
so
know,
many
man.
times when you're playing this deck. I keep drawing spells. Like I just keep getting to draw spells
Yeah.
and playing things. So, yeah, that's how the deck operates, and it's been really really cool.
And then we talked about
We
lava
can
flow a
like
little bit, but again, this is
yeah.
another card advantage thing. If this gets 2 for 1, you get a 2 for 1 with Tawny. You kill something and a little 2/2 that's been hanging around, or you get to punch them for 4 and kill something like. It's every single card you play feels like you're not spending as many resources as your opponent.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The lava flow, I know I've kind of talked about it already a little bit. The ceiling on that card is insane. Anything that deals a quarter of your opponent's health is something to like take
Pay
note of.
pay attention to. Yeah,
And again, the positional constraint with the card is really not a problem in this deck. So,
because Tawny's everywhere.
lava flow, yeah, Tawny's all the way down.
And then in your
But yeah,
sites, you have some interesting sites. First one is Boneyard, but I kind of want to point out some things I've noticed here. I was playing
yeah,
Steam and I got Peasants Revolted, but I lost one site.
yeah.
Um, so you have all these deserts. Oasis doesn't get hit. Mirror Realm is a copy of the thing. Kelp Cavern, and but you have a lot of fixing sites, but most of your sites don't get hit by Peasants Revolt or even Atlantean Fate.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that definitely was a consideration. Partially, but it was kind of more of a like a happy side effect, I
Mm-hmm.
would say. Um, I wanted to run as many deserts as I could possibly run anyway, because like we've talked about so heavily, like if you're on the draw or if they have any like momentum and play a thing forward, like Tawny Desert Violent is a 4 damage kill spell, like for 2 mana. So it's like deserts were invaluable, and then the fact that they were ordinary was just like the cherry on top. Like getting to run so many of them, getting to dodge Atlantean Fates, and Peasant Revolt, like awesome, because the deck can be really punished by Peasant Revolt if you're running a lot of those like greedy elite and unique sites. And this deck gets really punished by things that mess with your threshold.
Yeah.
Sinkhole can just like throw you off your momentum so bad. So not that these solve Sinkhole, but at very least, yeah, that's a great observation. I think that is a nuanced thing that I don't think when I first crafted the deck, I wasn't keeping that in mind. But as time went on, I was like, yeah, this is something that needs to be done.
Yeah.
So, um,
But Other than Boneyard, do you have any like spicy lit like pyres against Magoos? A bunch of fixing sites, floodplains again, more fixing, but they again, like you said, do some heavy lifting. Oasis for fixing, Mirror Realm for more fixing. How did you like Kelp Caverns? I feel like they kind of go back and forth on this guy.
I hated this card when I played with it when it first came out.
I had a feeling. I had a feeling.
No. So I hated it when I first read it.
Oh,
When I
really?
played with it,
I hate
yes.
playing it because it feels like I look
Oh
at
my
these
god.
three things and it's like I don't want any of this.
So I don't like Observatory. I still don't like Observatory
Okay.
because of that reason. But what this card lets you do is lets you so greedily mulligan. It's
Ah,
insane.
yeah.
So you get to pitch your Ruler of Thule, possibly, to try to find
A lug bug cat.
your, like, say you have a pond in hand, right? Like
Yeah.
you get to comfortably say like, okay, I will see that Rule of Fool later, but let me get this early pressure. So the card, Chris, Pork Chop Sandwiches, my brother Nick, all were like, this card's good. And I said, y'all are crazy. This card is terrible. Because I associated it
It's
with Observatory
yeah,
for
yeah.
that same reason. Um, but after playing with it, it's pretty invaluable to this deck, I would say.
If you're trying, I get it. It
Because
makes a lot of sense with the mulligans. It's like you want if you have a Boudica, like just tuck that thing. You're not playing that
tuck
on
it.
four. You,
You see you later, Boudica. If I draw, even if you don't have the Kelp Cavern, you can say like, okay, like I can reasonably get rid of this card. That way, if I come across my Kelp Cavern, I'll have a board state. I can put the Boudica back on top,
and
and it's just like,
you have no shuffle effects in this list, right? No shuffle effects.
nope.
So it's always going to be
I
sitting
don't think.
there, waiting for you to
Yeah,
draw your kelp cavern. Okay.
right. So, um, so yeah, Kelp Cavern it was. I was so impressed with this card.
Uh,
Um, all all weekend.
have we talked about a little bit about Boneyard and your disintegrate stuff? How did Boneyard feel with all your broken unique minions?
So it didn't ever come up with
Ah,
but I've played the deck a bunch, and it has come up in other games, and it's objectively won me games. Like being able to Ruler of Thule, do your Ruler of Thule thing. They deal with Ruler of Thule, then you Boneyard again, play another minion because Ruler of Thule was free off Boneyard, and then do the Ruler of Thule thing again. Yeah, it feels amazing, right? But there is some like nuance behind it too. Why I think it's like viable in this deck, whereas like other similar aggro decks it may suffer because we have access to floodplains and geysers. Like it's going to be very common that like if your opponent's playing Root Spider and you actually finally deal with the Root Spider, that they're just going to want to put the
roots.
Root Spider back underneath your Boneyard.
Yeah.
But now you can comfortably say like, all right, play the Boneyard next to a floodplain. You want to play your spider like in the subsurface? I don't think so, right? And
So
so
I would
you
say
can,
Boneyard isn't free. You have to be aware of if how you play Boneyard, and like
yeah,
yeah,
very much so.
yeah.
It's similar to Cordis and Thias, where like you do have to be really conscious and construct a good boneyard, but also early. Like if you're on the play and you get a turn 3 red cap Poweries, right? And attack with the red cap Poweries, they spin their guy to kill your red cap Poweries. Then turn 4, you play a boneyard, get your red cap Poweries back. They get their guy back, but you get to still attack with the red cap Poweries. I'm letting all of the secret sauce out right now. They they don't get to block with their minion because their minion has summoning sickness because it entered that play that turn.
What? I didn't know
So
that. What?
yeah, yes. So they will not get to block because their unit has summoning sickness. Yours has charge, so you get to attack regardless. And then
Hold,
you get to play that was free off the boneyard.
hold
So
on,
then you
you're
get to play
breaking
the other unit.
you're breaking my head for a second. Why does somebody sickness say you can't? Oh, you can't move, so you can't
You
move to
can't tap.
block. Oh, you can't
Yeah,
tap
you can't tap.
like you can't tap to block. Oh, good lord.
So like all the concentration of charge minions becomes that much better
Oh
because
god.
you can boneyard them back, even if they get something back to try to block it.
Ah,
You do have to be
gross.
careful because boneyard their thing resolves first. So like,
Yeah, yeah.
if you're
Again, you
gonna
have to
go
craft
Calico
it,
Drive, yeah, you
but
have to
the
craft it. But
uh,
I originally put it in as kind of a meme, like Hooter. It would be kind of cool to get 2 Morgana Le Fays, which is why I had Lady of the Lake in the deck originally. I was like, there's so many good mortals, but then I was like, oh wait, no, there's a lot of implications with Boneyard that just push it over the edge in this deck. So Boneyard, I know it looks like a meme. It's not a meme. It's not a meme at all in this deck. What
the
else?
one
Any of the other sites?
the one
Yeah, go ahead.
site you're missing here that I'm surprised you're missing is smokestacks. Why no smokestacks?
Yeah, Smokestacks is garbage in this list. Smokestacks is. I know this is a controversial take.
It removes deserts.
Smokestacks is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So look at the sites. Like so many of these have genesises that you rely on very positional. Like you have to play the site in a specific location to summon your Tawny in that location and hopefully get the benefit of the Genesis to like be able to do the thing. And if you have a smokestacks and you're like having to play your sites awkwardly now to avoid your own smokestacks,
You know,
blah, terrible.
my round 3 against Pathfinder, I had smokestacks in my opener, and then I'm like, fiddlesticks! I need to not turn off my floodplain. I have to.
Exactly.
So I took like I had to think about it my turn 3 or 4 for a while of like, can I draw? Do I need a site? Where am I going to play smokestacks? It was yeah. It's great
Yeah,
into
no,
like the defensive side stuff, but man, it messes up your whole game plan sometimes.
but it's less good into the decks that are running defensive sites now because again another codex update. Flooding is now an ability granted to the site. So, smokestacks means you can't geyser a site to flood it and kill a root spider if it's nearby a smokestacks.
Oh, you can't.
And that was kind of this. Yeah, no,
So
that was a.
you can't geyser a site
You can target a site to geyser it and give the things
but it won't
airborne,
flood
but it
it
won't flood it.
because
Right.
it's an ability, and smokestack says it removes all abilities.
Right.
Fuck these
And that
rules
was the
changes,
straw that
man.
broke the camel's back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so that after that, I was like, oh, I rely on floodplain so much to get my third or even second water threshold in a lot of cases, and I can't turn that off. Like, Polar Explorers solves the problems in a lot of cases to the defensive sites, like getting around it and swap now. Ugh, swap, wow. But like smokestacks was such a detriment, and like you said, that position where you're like, ugh, I have a smokestacks in hand, but like, do I draw a spell or draw a site? Like being forced to draw a site is exactly the antithesis of what this deck has been thus far, and I ran into that. Boneyard is the exception. Sometimes you'll have Boneyard in your hand and you'll be forced to draw a site, but like I couldn't justify another card like that. That would also turn off my Boneyard
Yep.
if I ever got
Yep.
an opportunity. So anyway, Smokestacks 0 out of 10. Don't put it in this list. It's not going to be good.
Hold on a second.
Promise.
Let me go over to mine. Smokestacks. Yeah.
I hope you don't lose a game where with you put a one of a different site, like a forge or something
Oh, I
that
need a
was a boneyard,
smokestacks or
and
something.
you're like, oh, this forge should have been a boneyard or should have been a smokestacks. Stupid duo.
No, I'm not sold on no smokestacks, but I totally get the like, oh god, this thing is a giant pain in the ass when I need to play around it now.
Yeah,
I think I would have
definitely.
lost that game if I had played smokestacks wrong, and I had I had a rough threshold game of water, and that floodplain did a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just couldn't justify turning off floodplain
That's fair.
and all of the deserts and stuff. So and ponds. So
Another card you're not playing, and I played in my list that I really thought was pretty good was the Great Famine. Why no famine?
I I would run it if I could figure out what to take out for it. The
Yeah.
card's amazing. Like I love the Great Famine. I love that and the Black Plague. Both of those auras are nightmares. They're so efficient. I just can't. I'm already at 51 cards. I'm notoriously at 51, 52, 53
Oh
cards.
my
I
god,
really
you
have been
won
trying
Gen
to.
Con with 50. Oh god, I'm gonna talk to Brandon and he's gonna lose his shit. And he's gonna be like, see? The,
I saw you talking crap to him. Yeah. Here's my logic in this game on why we can get away with 51, 52, 53 cards sometimes. I know he was at what 55 or
yeah.
54.
He
That's
was
a
at
little
58
excessive.
at one point. We got him down a little bit.
Don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. We're not there yet. We're not required to run 60. So let's keep it tight. But but the we have cards in this game that are one ofs by nature, uniques, right? And so sticking a single extra unique in my deck doesn't hurt the odds of seeing my like Ludbog cats early that much or seeing but it does give me the chance to see that unique eventually. Like I'm at 51 cards, Chris was at 50 cards on almost the exact same list. I'm running Pact with the Devil, he's not. That's the
Oof.
only difference.
Ugh.
I no,
I,
he was running slightly different. He was running the Great Famine. But so like we had some, but he was at 50, I was at 51, and we had some slight differences in there. But like the games, Pact with the Devil is a card that not I don't love to see in my opening hand. So like diminishing my chances to see Pact with the Devil is actually, in my opinion, a good thing. So I know that's terrible logic. I know that's terrible logic, but that's how I've justified it to myself, my family, and Jesus. So
um, what about Plague of Frogs or Famine over Plague of Frogs? Would that be like a something you think about?
possibly I've won too many games with Plague of Frogs, like just
Yeah.
Plague of Frogs
So,
Agravain,
oh,
Plague of Frogs
I,
Bodica,
I
Plague of
fucking with
Frogs
combo weird
Bias.
things. I was gonna say, well, Plague of Frogs isn't as good now because if we go back to your original list, you were playing Manuscript. Why did you take Manuscript out of your list?
Yeah, it's a trap. This card, like, so it's cool to see it and be like, I can just throw Tawny, I can abuse Tawny with this, and
You pay
like,
2 mana and you spend Tawny for a cantrip.
and then you're like, well, I can just keep moving the Tawny back and then do it
But you
again.
want to use Tawny
And
to
I
remove
was
4/4s, right?
exactly. So once I started being like, why am I wasting my free positional advantage for like an extra card every like
Every other
two to
turn.
three turns,
Yeah.
right? Like that's not good. Um, and I mean the to see Plague of Frogs manuscript is like rare, and oftentimes you want to be doing other things with your Plague of Frogs
Yeah.
rather than like playing it and hoping they survive so you can then tap all 7 of them to draw 7 cards. Like what did that really get you? Um, so so took it out
So you draw
out of
7
here.
cards, and then what do you do? Play 2 cards? You already had 3 cards in
Or
hand, maybe. You would play two.
right.
It doesn't change your turn. Like
Mhm.
yeah.
Like
Um,
how poorly of a position did you play those Plague of Frogs to then be able to draw those cards when your opponent like attacked you for like 8 when you could have played those Plague of Frogs in a more defensive way and prevented that 8 health? Like what? How much was the opportunity cost of drawing those cards really? And it's just I'm not running turtles. I was running Adept Illusionist in my original list, which was like a combo with it because you can
just always
throw
bring them
one and then
back. Yeah,
tap,
yeah.
bring it back,
I
do it
I
over.
like Polar Explorers over Adept. Adept, it feels so slow to me. But
It was.
yeah,
It was. Having the additional like spellcasters for Pact with the Devil like didn't hurt, and like you, they're pretty annoying, but they are slow. Like
yeah.
they're
I,
they're kind of
looking at your original list, looks not.
it's a little more wombo combo. You can say it's a wombo-y
No,
for
it just
sure.
feels like your this list feels so streamlined of what you want to be doing,
Yeah.
and the original list is like, hey, it's all a bunch of busted things.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. We kind of get a little bit of that in both of them, but definitely it's more succinct.
Yeah,
Definitely the
your Gen Con list is so much more not straightforward, but um, has a clear game plan of like all these things are busted in a vacuum. All these things kind of work together, and then I just run you over with Druid value.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, I mean, running like Lady of the Lake and
Yeah.
Green Knight uh, you just
Hey,
there was more.
I played Green Knight in mine.
Yeah, no,
but
I don't think Green Knight is bad. I just think
but
if I'm
looking at
going more
my
low end,
list that I stole
yeah,
from Felix's list and made it worse. Um,
I mean, the most prolific Hot Springs player.
he is
So I don't blame you one bit.
a very good Hot Springs player. But I feel like I took away some of that hard edge, poignant game plan in my changes. Like
Mm, hmm.
so, I think you have
Yeah,
a
like Poison. Is Felix running Poison Nova
no. That
in
wasn't
his?
me. I was just like I want to jam as much hard removal as I can into this deck and go from there. Um,
Yeah,
and
again, it's not a bad call. It's just like you said, it does kind of like dull the edge of the deck a little bit,
yeah.
right? Like so,
Oh, and the other
but it's
spicy
weird.
thing
You
I
look at the
played
card; it's
was
like one of the best
Swindler's
cards,
Troop. I was
which
like,
I don't mind. Like I really don't mind. It's an on rate card that gives you protection for
yep,
your like good cards,
yeah.
right?
No, it
So
was
it's like
I was trying to protect my minions, and there's been so many instances of like I attack with a Lugbog cat, and then they don't block because they want to kill it with a trinket on their turn, and then I play Swindler's Troop and give it stealth, and now I have this like free block thing,
feels
and
it
my
feels amazing.
yeah, no, it's
Yeah, I don't blame you one bit. Like I wish I could justify it in my list.
I
I
feel
don't know
like
what I would take
my
out for
two
Swindler's
Swindler's
Trip.
Troops are your two Polar Explorers, if you can kind of think of it like that.
Sure. Yeah, that's probably a good parallel of like if you had to look at it because you can't really justify taking out like a red cap Poweries
Oh no,
or you're not on Coruscant Kobolds though, are you?
no, I was playing Brother Knights and oh no, I have two kobolds.
You should take out Brothers Knights effective immediately.
I was worried about Gnome Hollows, like you were saying, and I was playing against Nadu, and he absolutely destroyed me with Brother Knights, and was like, "Is this thing good?" But and also
Yeah,
Felix likes Brother Knights. Some it's just
I
like
know
this
Felix does.
threat.
That's something
Yeah,
we have disagreed on pretty heavily early on. I think they're just so easy to remove.
yep.
Like I just think
No,
I think you brought up you. I've heard you articulate this point originally. One Violent deals with both
yes,
of them, and
yes. You spend
I
four
think
mana, they spend two. You just lose on rate.
Minor Explosion deals with both of them in Jihad. Like I just think that they're just not quite there. I want to like them, but they just don't do it for me.
No,
So,
and I would
um,
agree with you. I would rather play Monstrous Lands.
Monsters Lion or Saracen Raiders. Like at least you're getting value out of Saracen Raiders, even if it's just a single body. Like you put it in an annoying spot, and
Oh,
you get an immediate value out of it.
did we really talk about
Are you right?
Raiders and why these things are so annoying?
Yeah. Well, we touched on them because they're just good fire charge minions,
But like
but yeah,
having a summoning sphere stapled onto these things is it's just bleh, what?
yeah. Why? For the same mana as the other vanilla charge guy, they gave us one that goes anywhere. Like just
Oh,
gets
not one mana. You
airdropped
also have to
to
play an
any
extra. It's an
location.
extra threshold. It's an extra threshold.
Yeah.
Let's be. But yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
it.
I think
It's I
it's
think
silly.
the thing that pushes this over the edge of why be cast anywhere without enemies is so frustrating is because it comes out of nowhere when you're at death's door.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
God, it's not it feels so free for your opponent to kill you. And like I play around grapple shot and there's like a positional thing. One of my favorite kill spells is heat ray, but that's like you have to be in line of sight and like there's some like positioning stuff. You this just removes all of that. Just removes
Yeah.
any positioning requirement. It's just frustrating.
this card and Jihad and these cards that like hell, even Tawny. This is gonna sound like an ironic complaint based off the deck that I'm playing. But like Jihad and Saracen Raiders and things that like remove that like I have to think about where I'm playing my crap component to this game bother me. I don't like
Yes.
Jihad fundamentally because you just get to play all your shit wherever you want. And it's just like, why have a board? Why are we playing on a grid when we can just like both like I can just play wherever I want, right? So Saracen Raiders getting to do that built in is gross. In the finals, Felix plays like he plays an amazing game. He's playing really intelligently, playing defensively, even units that should like generally customarily you would think would need to be played offensively.
Felix or
He plays
Pascal?
I'm sorry, Pascal. Thank you. Pascal. Oh man. Yeah, Pascal plays his cores and kobolds in a defensive location, and I have the Saracen Raiders and get to like freely kill them, even though I don't have a location that I could normally play a unit to,
Yes.
because Saracen Raiders can go anywhere. So, and also, I always read this card as maybe cast to any site, any. I always thought it said maybe cast to any unoccupied site, which is incorrect. So without enemies is a small distinction, but an important one. I always thought they just couldn't be occupied. So that was like a week before Gen Con that we realized it said without enemies. So you can cast it to sites with allies. You can cast it to sites with allies. So
Yeah. I think
but
I'm fine with Jihad. Like, yeah, it's a busted unique, but at least you have to spend a card to do so, right? There's a bit of a
yeah.
cost there. Like, it's a still broken right in like I still agree with you. It's still
Yeah.
frustrating, but at least you have to spend a card to do it. Saracen Raider
Yeah.
says you don't have to spend anything. You just get this, and
You get the thing. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good point.
um,
I think my problem with Jihad is like, yeah, you're spending a card, but on turn 2 in
it's
this game,
broken. Yeah, yeah,
you're not like doing anything else more proactive than playing a Jihad, right? Like Jihad is like the most proactive thing you can do on turn 2. And it's like right in curve with aggro, and it just makes you steamroll potential, right? Like it's just ugh, ugh, get
All
rid of
right.
Jihad. Also, I hate this card because it's led to a couple of in March of the Mortals, I got blown out by a Jihad Dark Horse and Kobolds
But
and
that's what sorcery
Giganticism.
is. And sorcery is
Now,
busted uniques.
I don't like it. I don't like it
You're the
one
one
bit,
playing
says the guy
busted
who runs.
uniques. My last question to you, sir. We'll go back to the very first time this was like brought out to the public. You called it Hot Springs, and
Yeah,
how do you feel about Steam? I feel like I pushed the Steam
the
moniker.
Steam narrative. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you definitely have been lobbying for Team Steam, and I disagree with you. I think here's I think Steam is a fine name for generic water fire decks, right? If you have a water fire death speaker, that is a Steam death speaker. But for this specific deck, I think it's Hot Springs.
This style of synergistic busted uniques is Hot Springs.
Yeah. And I think now that's a little bit unfair because I think for a long time we'll see very similar like cores to water fire decks. Like you'll always see probably Sir Agravain,
Yeah.
always see Bodica.
Yeah.
Like so, but yeah, I don't know. I have no like super big attachment to it. I named it Hot Springs. I thought it was kind of cool, and and you
I'm
threw it all in the trash.
I'm gonna keep
So
calling it Steam Druid. This is what Steam Druid
that's
is to
fine.
me. Yeah, no, I
That's fine.
no that. Well, man, thank you so much. How long has this been? An hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, that was a long one. Thanks for the talk. Thanks for letting me rant for an hour and 40 minutes about cardboard.
No, this was. I can talk about sorcery for way too long. And like you said, I think we both love the mid range aspect of sorcery and the turning it into like chess with cool magic players. And if I can go on a little bit of a soapbox, and that's why I feel uh, Archimago, and to a lesser extent Death Speaker, but still kind of Death Speaker, they just I know people will say they play to the board with sites, but it's not the same. It's not
Yeah.
chess. It's not positioning matters. And positioning still matters with Archimago. And yes, it still does. I'm being very broad here, but that's why I felt like Archimago was actively bad for the game. And I'm like, this is great to see that mid range was played at Gen Con and people had a blast.
Hell, mid range was mirror. It was like a mirror match mid range, but two druids, granted, but like water, fire, water, earth
I
mid
can
range in the finals.
we can
So
take any position against Druid and say it's too good, but at least on the top three or top eight, I think there was two Steam Druids, maybe, but like CJ was top with his water air.
water, or
Uh,
yeah,
Pascal was top with his earth fire. Like there was a diversity of decks within the Druid umbrella. Um,
yeah. I think there were four druids, two hot springs, and and one water, air, and one earth, fire.
yeah,
So like, so there were only two identical decks in the top eight, and then I think, well, I say that, but there was also two Avatar of Air in the
but
top eight, and I
one
think
avatar was Casey, and that was an air earth
Earth.
big minion stuff, and then the other one was a pure air curve out tempo deck. Like,
That
th-
mono air list is actually also one of the biggest predators for hot springs. Crazy
really,
to say.
I
Yes.
all right. We're gonna keep talking. All right, we're gonna go into matchups. How about that?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
I should ask: you trying to go to bed at some point?
No, 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 no. It's
Okay.
earlier for me than it is for you, so I'm good.
All right. Yeah. So matchups. I felt like my Avatar of Air matchup was like I can just eat all your minions for free.
Cakewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can feel like that. It can. Um, the problem is if they see one rolling boulder,
Ooh. Yeah.
they now I will say your list with Poison Novas and like the bigger guys probably has a better match into Avatar of Air than my list does. But my list is very rolling boulderable. So and like they don't give a crap about your stealth. They don't give a crap about your Morgana Le Fay. Like they're gonna kill it no matter where you try to play it safely. Like they don't give you enough time to like breathe and get the like overpowered value out of these things. Um, and if they play wisely and they get like a good position, like the deck can just pose such a problem for this. I lost to it at our cornerstone, a mono air Avatar of Air list won the cornerstone, and it was a crazy list. It only had like one Dapper Vampire. It was running like four 2 power, or like 8 copies of the different 2 power airborne units, like 4 Palaberry Bats and 4 Tooth Fairies, like, or something like that. Like it was a crazy list, but just like the combination of being like airborne and he had rolling boulders, he saw them every game. So like, so the it was just a it was just, no pun intended, rolling all of this the hot springs and steam druids that were there, because there were several, and it we faced a buddy of mine who was running almost this exact list and in the finals and beat him, like, and he beat me in the qualifiers. I did end up top eighting, but like I didn't want to face him again in the top eight. So it was crazy. Like it was really eye-opening to Avatar of Air actually being a problem. It's crazy, but the Earth Air list, I will say, I don't have that much of a problem with, because they're so, while they are running rolling boulders and stuff, they're not like ramping out as fast with
Yeah.
like the three
They
power
take a little
airborne
more
guys and
setup.
things.
They don't suffocate you
They
like
do.
this. The mono air does.
That's a great way to describe it. And I think like with polymorphs and disintegrates, like the Earth Air one, yeah, they might play like a Plume Pegasus or something like that, but really like their thing is like sticking a Phalanx or sticking a Pudge Butcher.
Yeah.
And as long as you can just like zap that thing, they kind of start to fumble a little bit. So um the Earth Air one I'm less scared of. I still didn't want to face against Casey at all, but
He's just a good
and I was
player, and
happy
you're
that
like,
I
I don't want
dodged
to. I
him.
don't want to
Yeah,
even go near you.
yeah, Yeah. I was happy for him that he got one of the rainbow foils Avatar of Airs. I'm really jealous of that, but I did not want to face him in the game in the tournament at all. And then what else? Matchups, bad matchups. I think this has a decent matchup against Archimago. I know people like Moth will say like you need to see your uniques. You do need to see your
But
uniques,
you
but
have
this
so
deck
many uniques, right?
sees its uniques pretty regularly. And like for instance, this deck's so annoying. Hot Springs is so annoying in the sense that like if they feast for crows, what do you say, right? Like Ruler of Thule just for good measure, but then they have Sir Agravain, or then and then they have a Boudica
Yeah,
or a Mask of Mayhem,
it,
right?
it's
Like
it's so
this,
well rounded. Of like you have so many different threats. There's Feast for Crows doesn't matter, right? You
yeah.
said you
So
played against Hane, right?
yeah,
How
yeah. I
did
played against Hane.
and the swap probably was like the thing that broke the camel's back on that one was like be able to get in.
Yeah. Well, the swap let me just get the pressure where I needed it to, like get some. I think I had him at 9 by like turn 5
Yeah,
or
that's
6
one of
or
those good.
something, and
That's something you can do against Archimagos. Just like, hi, I'm here, and then they're
yeah,
forced to draw, uh, dig for answers, right?
right, and like and that was like off the back of like a Saracen Raiders, which he like earthquaked to kill a Saracen Raiders and a Tawny and move a Gnome Hollows into a defensive spot that like made it really awkward for me to interact with him.
Yeah.
Um, and it was after the earthquake that he had the earthquake in the yard. I knew he had the earthquake in the graveyard, so I played my monstrous lion, or sorry, my questing beast on a water site, and that's when I did the swap shenanigans. But like knowing he had the berry effects and keeping being and part of this deck being able to be on water, like if there's any really berry effect reliant Archimagos, this deck can have an
I
okay chance into them. The problem is Archimagos they see one divine healing and then they just run away with the game. And Hay never saw a
yeah.
divine healing.
Oh,
But they've
that
got
helps a lot too. Um,
yeah.
I will say I've had decent luck with the three color Archimago into Steam Druid, just because,
Yeah.
like you said, you're not so reliant on those berry effects, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And I didn't I'm gonna be honest, I did not realize Hane was on just Earth Air until like way too late in the game. Um I was fully playing around Poison Nova the whole time. so which he does not run because he's not a fire.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like I'm so conditioned to that 3 color deck. I do think it's the best iteration of it. I think I got pretty fortunate that Hane wasn't on fire in his list. Um, but uh, but yeah, I mean it's like the deck. He was 5-0 when we faced.
Yep.
So like it's still viable, right? So, and then the thing that pushed the deck over the edge was I stuck a Sir Agravain, was able to like keep it alive, and then attacked with 2 units to hit Hane for 6 to put him at death's door, despite him having just played guards and having 9 blockers.
God.
So like,
Oh God. Like I'm glad Archimago got shot in the knees, but man,
yeah,
at what cost? At
yeah.
what cost,
At
man?
what cost? Yeah, at what cost? I'll take a buff to Sir Agravain and a hack to the power of Hane, or not Hane, Archimago, and Hane, I guess, too, if he's playing Archimago. But and then to cap it off, Sir Agravain being a 3/2, Hane moved away, but Sir Agravain's plus movement and him having stealth and him being a 3/2 let me move through the Gnome Hollows to stealth strike him, despite him having 18 blockers at that point, because of the split power. So I had plenty of other ways to kill him, but I just wanted to point that out because I could.
just rub some salt in the wound. Jeez, man.
No, yeah, I wasn't trying to be like. I was actually trying to be like The other way I could kill him was like play a Quarrelsome Kobolds and then swap the Quarrelsome Kobolds with one of his foot soldiers
Oh, you
to
had another
like
swap
then
in that
into
game?
turn strike. I had two swaps. But I didn't. That was more steps, and it felt like more like bad manners than the like simple I
I'll just
attack you
kill
with
you
the
as
staff
fast as...
guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so I just felt like this is like the most merciful thing. But other matchups, Battle Mage. This is an okay matchup into Battle Mage. You just have to be careful about playing your like Plague of Frogs and stuff. If you can stick a early Ludbog Cat, like they always play a Water Site turn one. It seems like they always play their like Lighthouse or their
Yeah.
uh, any of those Water Sites, and then like if you can get a turn three Ludbog Cat on top of them, it can kind of like stall them. Like they focus on the Ludbog Cat long enough for you to like get to your mana to like start playing your
And
bigger threats and stuff.
an early
So
Love Cat is, like you said, is a good distraction. And then looking at your list, you have Monsters Lion just punches them for 4, and then they have to have a little extra to deal with it. Saracen Raiders, you can attack off away from them so they can't eat it and draw a card. Um,
right,
and Manticore and Questing Beast being 5 toughness is huge against Battle Mage. I know Battle Mage can, like, they're just so explosive. But other than them being explosive, I feel like a Battle Mage matchup is not a hard thing to figure out.
yeah, and I think that's why I was able to like persuade Chris to like get off of Battle Mage for Gen Con, and I think he got top. I think he got like 12th at Gen Con, so he got top 16.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but with this list, but is because we like that the burst potential that Battle Mage offered. Like this deck had that as well, right? Like it just does the same thing, but also operates on like kind of a different axis, and kind of like has more reliable removal that rather than like being having to like shrink and attack the thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
And if you want to
it just
remove a 3/3, you take 3 damage doing so. Yeah, you get a draw a card, but you also took 3 damage. It's like, it's just a
yeah,
little painful. Like, Battle Mage is
yeah,
good. It's just walking a razor's edge of, like, you just, it's like, you take so much incidental damage sometimes, and you want to be aggressive with your stuff. So, like, Violence and Kobolds with trinkets and just all this random crap just is like, ow, stop punching me.
yeah, exactly. Like they're walking on glass the whole way to get to you. And then literally if you flip, like they're walking on glass to like try
Every
to maneuver.
Yeah,
So
in my crazy game against Nadu, I flipped and he was trying to figure out how to kill some minions and had grapple shot in hand. And he's like, but he was at, I think, like 4 or 5 or something, and couldn't spend the 3 damage to kill stuff with grapple shot. It's just like,
yeah.
yeah.
I biggest grievance about Druid is the aura. My Nick had a good point. He was like, I wish they actually made it like an aura token that you like when you flip it, it like just summons an aura, so you could at least dispel
Ooh,
it.
I
Like I
like it.
think that would
Yeah.
have. We already have 2 tokens for the minions. Just give us a third token for the aura, right?
Hmm.
And I thought that would have been a really good fix to it, but I just hate that it's like
I
glued on him. It's going to be there forever. It's
I think it's
anything
also
that.
a, like, how
Go
do you
ahead.
interact with that? Like, you can play
Exactly.
Shield Maidens, that
Shield
helps.
maidens.
But, like, then they just can just
Yeah.
kill that with not much effort.
Minor explosion.
Minor explosion.
Like,
Yeah. It's just like interaction. It's like, how do I? It. I think Sorcery has a can't do something problem since they don't have instant magics or interaction. It's a,
right.
how do you protect your stuff on your turn? Well, you just say you can't do something, like Gnome
Right.
Hollows. You can't enter here. Um, it feels so suffocating. Of like, I wish I had some way to interact with you, what you are doing. It's also
Yeah,
one of
and
the
like that's why
complaints
Drums
about...
of Doom.
Yeah, and it's
Go
just
ahead. What
like,
were we gonna say?
it's also a complaint I have about Archimago. I know we get some site or graveyard interaction with Gothic, but um, and you were gonna say Drums of Doom on a flip druid is like, well, do you
It's
have
just so
anything?
oppressive. It's like, do you want to play the game? Because like, Like,
Yeah.
as an example, there were two druids mirror matching or like facing each other. One was mono air, one was earth, or sorry, hot springs, and one of them played Drums of Doom. They were both flipped, and they were both like, we really can't play the game anymore. Like, neither of us can do things
Yeah.
until this drums is gone. And that's not great. I don't like that for the
Yeah.
game. So,
I've definitely played some games where we're both playing Druid, and my opponent has drums, and we're both flipped, and we're like, all right, we're both Steam. We don't have any real good way to interact with artifacts. I mean, one of us can get a Lantean Fate, and it's just like, I guess I'll play. I'll take 3 turns to play my sites over here and try to get out of the. It's just like it's just a nightmare.
yeah, it really is. It leads to pretty unfun games, I'll say. Um, it also leads to games where you win when you totally should have lost because they just can't interact with you anymore. So,
It's interaction, right?
um,
Again, back to that interaction point of like, how can do I get to interact with you? I know it's a game where I don't do anything on your turn, but I would still like to interact you with on my turn. Hard lock pieces like that, I feel it's just it's even worse than like stacks effects, like um, bells. Like that was one of the in 4020 Avatar of Air with bells was just one of those like just so backbreaking, lock you out of the
yeah,
game style decks. It's just
yeah, like talk about being suffocated, like the bells on top of it. The like the tax of that was so bad. And then now I've really contemplated running bells in a druid list, and I had one that I like was pretty good. It was a water air list, very different than CJ's, like more low to the ground, more akin to like at the battle mage kind of curve
mhm.
with bells, because I was like, it's so easy to get tawny over
Ooh,
there.
oh yeah. Tawny's basically free on
But
top of your opponent avatar.
yeah, so the problem was it's just not very good into this meta because Druid also doesn't care about bells.
Yep,
Like
because you can cast
you,
things from Tawny,
because
right?
Tawny, because Tawny exists. So it's like the reason why the deck was like being considered was Druid, and the reason why the deck can't be considered is Druid. Like, ugh, ugh. So, anyway, that's my soapbox on Druid and
Yeah,
interaction.
my other point
And
on like why lock pieces feel so bad is like I just want to play the fucking game.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
uh,
I
uh,
think
yeah.
I hope we get some like nuanced and exciting interaction with like artifacts and things like that. Like I know swap is like already breath a bunch of life and like possibilities. Swap is just busted though. So I hope we can see like some cool interaction that just doesn't also simplify the game in the sense that it's like now we care less about positional things because like
Hmm.
for instance swap is just it's easier to positionally you don't have to be as strategic because then you can just easily swap your unit with theirs and then they don't have a blocker and now you have an attacker in a relevant spot. So it's like but like hopefully we see some more answers like to things like drums and things like that that are nuanced and novel but not just simplifying. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's just like you said, just removing the best part. All right, when I say best, this is my opinion. The best part of the
Mhm.
game of positioning makes the game worse, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the best part of the game is being able to cast spells from the grave and heal for 14. So I disagree with you.
what about from hand combo? You can't stop.
Which one? The is it the Candlemoss? Is that the one you're talking about?
I was going to say just craterize, like.
Oh yeah, sure. You mean deal 10 then deal 10 again? Yeah,
And then if
that
anybody
no
tells me
that
to play fucking Tragedy Warrior War, you go pound sand. That thing sucks.
yeah. That, I don't know. I'm gonna consider it. I think it's good.
It's not though, because you know why it's not good? Because they just remove it and then they do it.
They just
It's not a
bury it.
it's not
Yeah.
It's not a counter spell. It's a speed bump. It's why Bog
Hardly.
or
You see how anemic that guy is? They're not there's barely a speed bump. He's so he's tiny.
yeah.
I'm gonna pull up the art real quick. Tragedy. Yeah, you wouldn't even feel him running him over in a Prius. Tragedy.
Oh,
So
jeez.
anyway.
All right. I think
Well,
have we been on our soapbox for long enough? I think we
two
have.
hours, I think. I think so. But I really appreciate you taking letting me hop on. I know we talked about doing this before Gen Con, so like coming into it after winning Gen Con, it feels pretty surreal. So I'm happy to like hop on games or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for this.
Yeah. No, I had a great time. I like talking about why people choose things and their understanding. My plan was to have like a 45-minute conversation about the deck and then have like a half an hour uh, gameplay showcase with Felix and talking about like game plan and going through it. But I think I'll just leave this where it is and be on the lookout for another video with Felix talking about the gameplay of Steam or
Yeah,
Hot
I'd
Springs.
love to like connect with Felix and even like have a debate of like the nuanced differences and things that we like and dislike, like him trying to persuade me on like anybody cares, but like giving me enough ammunition on why I should run Brothers Knights and things like that. So, because it is funny because you see like every list is like a little bit different, a little nuanced,
Yeah,
and
like
like
even my
I'm really
list that I stole from Felix, like I'm playing Swindler's Troop and Poison Novas and
yeah,
uh yeah.
and it's not like that was just a bad call like that you just like there was definitely merit there, and like I think that's something that makes me like this deck is like you can justify putting Swindler's Troop in it, right? And it's like the deck's floor is high enough where you can like get these niche cards
Is
and
the
have
deck's
like
floor
pretty
high
cool
enough, or is
interact.
it Druid's floor is high enough you can do
Well,
whatever the hell
Druid's
you
floor is I think Druid's floor is high enough where you can do a lot of things, but
Yeah.
I think like the combination of just getting like Red Cap Poweries and Ludbog Cats, like the floor on those cards are just so high. Like we saw it in CJ's final match at the tournament he was in before Gen Con. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah,
Where
the cornerstone at oh gosh, I'm terrible. On the East Coast in Maryland. No Land
yeah,
Beyond. I got there.
yeah. Where that deck like the deck just like continues to do like thing after thing after thing, and then it just like wins the game.
And then it wins with the
Because the
broken
deck just
unique like Ring of Morgan. Yeah.
yeah, you know, and on Ring of Morgan, it doesn't feel great that in my finals match I like had the ring and the trinket and abused the crap out of it. But I will say he death doored me pretty quickly once he finally stuck a minion. So
That's see there was your fault. You let him stick a minion.
I I did my damnedest to not, and then he healed for 12 and then stuck two minions, and I was looking at my single trinket in my hand and was like, I'm gonna lose this game. So
It's like, oh god, I can see it slipping away.
I felt so confident whenever did that Morgana play and lava flowed from the back line and killed his Pudge Butcher and got him down to 9 or whatever it was. I was like, this game's in the bag. Not really. I was like,
It's
things
like
are going well.
you're like, I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling super confident. Like I'm feeling really good, which is why I did that really greedy play to like throw my Morgana into his Bruin and then go and move myself up to pick up the ring and like ultimately leave myself cardless. But I was like, he doesn't have a Bruin anymore and he's at 9 health and I'm on top of him. I haven't flipped yet and I have a Ring of Morgan. Like I can burn through 9 health pretty quickly, and it was like that turn that he played the pillar, and I was like, never mind, this game's over.
Yeah.
That was so brutal. I was like, oh,
That was a solid finals game. I know you liked it.
Yeah,
You had your ring and some other things, but man, that pillars off the top, that was a good game.
yeah. I will say I'm happy. Even if I lost, I'd be happy to have played in that game because I think we talked about this after the finals game, like me, you, and CJ. Like having a game, like an actual game, back and forth, like nuanced decision making. That's all. I would rather that and lose than a blowout either direction, because
Yes.
and win, right?
Yeah.
Like so I think when people see that game, I hope they say, "Wow, this game's an interesting, nuanced game. Wow, look, there was a lot of decision points here," rather than like, "Oh, he drew a card that killed his opponent in 2 turns." Like
Yeah, like if you
that's not
did
cool.
the jihad into uh, monstrous lion or some other charged
Yeah,
things, and
Jihad
then
into Poweries into Ruler of Thule, like
yeah, and you blew him out on
that's
turn
not a
6, like yeah, and it's the best of
yeah,
one game.
cool.
Ugh.
Yeah, but yeah, cool. Nobody's gonna like come to this game new and be like, that's something I want to be a part of. And if they are somebody who does that, they're like gonna start playing Archimego pretty quickly. So they're not who we want
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. No, and I had a thought, but it's gone now. But we tried
No
to end
worries.
this
Sorry, I
three
know it's super
times.
late. Sorry, I'm leaving now. I'm
All
gonna
right.
just leave it.
Thank you
Bye.
for joining. I'll see everybody next time. Be on the lookout for something in the future. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Bye.